He had the fame, the money, and the spotlight. For years, Shannon Sharpe was the example of how an athlete could transition from the field into media and keep winning. But in chasing youth, ignoring wisdom, and living for validation, he may have just lost everything. What's unfolding around him isn't just a scandal, it's a cautionary tale. People still remember when he labeled black women gold diggers, dismissing them with a smugness that made headlines. It wasn't just a passing comment, it was a mindset he carried into his relationships. This same man who accused women of being money-hungry was the one who refused to pay properly for his daughter's wedding, capping her budget at $30,000 and leaving her serving spaghetti to guests. Yet, when it came to a woman younger than all his children, he opened his wallet wide. That hypocrisy explains why today hardly anyone is rushing to defend him. The irony is that Sharpe wasn't lacking for guidance. Monique told him bluntly to date his age, not his wage. Cat Williams warned him that it only takes 2 weekends for a man to ruin himself. Even celebrities like Cheryl Underwood, Bow Wow, Kirk Franklin, and Lil Yachty chimed in, telling him that chasing girls young enough to be his kids was a recipe for disaster. But Shannon brushed it off, acting untouchable. He carried on, convinced that wisdom from others didn't apply to him. That arrogance led him straight to Gabriela Zuniga, a 22-year-old OnlyFans star, 10 years younger than his own son. Their relationship began in 2023, but by the following year it turned into a $50 million lawsuit. Gabriela claimed he assaulted her multiple times, threatened her, and controlled nearly every aspect of her life, from her weight to her private choices. She alleged he even shared her intimate videos with friends against her wishes. Shannon, in response, went public calling it nothing more than a shakedown, accusing lawyer Tony Busby of orchestrating the attack on him, just as he had allegedly targeted Jay-Z. But the internet wasn't buying his defense. To most people watching, Shannon wasn't a victim. He was a man who had set himself up for disaster. Then came the blow no one saw coming. Reports broke that Gabriela had agreed to retire from OnlyFans, launching new projects funded entirely by Shannon's settlement money. Word spread that he had agreed to pay her $23 million, more than he earned during his entire NFL career. The man who once refused to give his own children more than scraps of support had just signed away a fortune to a woman younger than them all. And the damage didn't stop there. ESPN, where Shannon had built his second act, cut ties with him and scrapped his $50 million contract. The timing couldn't have been worse. It happened the same year his brother was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Shannon admitted he was blindsided, thinking he would be back at ESPN by training camp. Instead, he found himself sidelined, not by injury this time, but by the consequences of his personal life. The network had made up its mind. He was reckless, a liability, and not worth the risk. What Gabriela really left behind wasn't just a settlement, it was a blueprint. Her lawsuit opened the door for other women to follow the same playbook, and Shannon quickly found himself hit with more. Another $20 million lawsuit came from Gimelita Tellman, claiming he and his partner damaged her personal and professional life. Insiders whispered that Gabriela wasn't the only young woman he had been involved with, and that Shannon was drained, clinging to his podcast as his last stable source of income. The irony is painful. For years, Shannon prided himself on being tough, disciplined, and self-made. He boasted about keeping money tight with his own kids, saying they shouldn't look to him as their first option for help. Yet today, the very wealth he hoarded is building someone else's empire. Internet voices summed it up best. Shannon built generational wealth for everyone but his own family. The man who claimed black women were only after money now has millions flowing to a young Latina woman who played him perfectly. It's hard to miss the contrast. He forced his daughter into a budget wedding that served spaghetti, yet gave Gabriela enough money to retire in her 20s. He worked decades to secure a coveted ESPN role, only to throw it all away in under a year. He spent years painting himself as a protector of his brand, yet destroyed it by chasing youth and validation. This isn't just gossip, it's a lesson. Shannon Sharpe's downfall is a reminder of what happens when pride blinds a man to wisdom, when wealth becomes a weapon against your own family, and when the need for outside validation overpowers common sense. He was warned again and again, but chose to ignore it. And now the story of Shannon Sharpe isn't about victories, it's about losses. Millions lost, respect lost, and opportunities gone. The question left hanging is simple. Did Shannon Sharpe bring this all on himself? Or was he unfairly targeted by people who saw an opportunity? Either way, his story has become a warning of what happens when success is squandered by recklessness. What do you think? Did Shannon dig his own grave? Or was this just the cost of living life in the spotlight? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that peel back the curtain on fame, money, and the price of ignoring the truth.